Hello, and welcome to Kick Conflict to the Curb. I love bringing you exclusive interviews and conversations with some of the brightest minds in communication and resolving conflict. I'm your host, Joyce Weiss, communication coach and facilitator. And I work with professionals who want to break their silence, speak with confidence and courage. Find your voice with Joyce. Be heard, gain respect, and master the skills to resolve conflict. Well, I have a few questions for you. Have you always felt confident using your voice? Or was there a time in your life that was a turning point and something happened and you just knew you had to change? Well, are you ready to discover how to be direct with respect, even if you usually stay silent during those uncomfortable situations? If so, you're in the right place. I'm excited to introduce our two guests today who are going to pull back the curtain and share how they transformed from being silent to being very strong communicators. I'm thrilled to introduce our guests to today's live broadcast. Bold Voices, the journey to speaking your truth. I've invited them on the show several times due to their stories, authenticity, and expertise. Plus, I'm honored to call them friends. Diane Bogino is a career coach who has been on both sides of the HR desk. She works with people who want to build a better career so they can create a better life. Her philosophy is stay in the game. Tom Borg is a small business consultant who creates leadership teams that communicate well, trust each other, and perform at their best. His philosophy is it's critical to learn communication skills that allow us to constructively resolve conflict. Welcome to the show, Diane and Tom.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you, Diane and Tom. Yeah, this has been probably one of the fastest times that I invited the two of you last week, and we came with this date, and this is the first time I've ever done it at 7 p.m. So I'm actually thrilled. It's going to be. I had all day to think about this, to think about these creative questions to stomp my speaker friends. Only kidding. So, are you ready to pull back the curtain? Like I said in the intro.
Sure.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And folks, I have no idea how this is going to go. Because we know each other, I'm really afraid of what's going to come out of the mouth, but I do trust you. So, would you recall a moment when you faced self-doubt about using your voice, and how did you push through it?
Diane, go ahead.
Well, gee, Tom, I was going to say you're the youngest. You should go first, but that's okay. Well, Joyce, as you know my story. Having been an abused foster welfare child, I've always stayed in the background and always tried to hide and be silent. But in my mid 30s, I had an epiphany, and I could see how my friends thought about themselves and how I thought about myself. And it was just like night and day, right? They were the bright people, and I was like the dark person because I was so negative. But I knew right then I had an epiphany that I needed to speak up and learn how to speak up. And I started to speak up for myself at that moment.
Wow. And that was in your 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So folks who are watching now or, the recording later on, doesn't matter how old or how young we are. When we're silenced, we have to be ready because it's a risk, and we're gonna get into specifically how you did that. But thank you. Yeah, I can hear your story all the time. From abused foster to career coach and friend of Tom and Joyce. So Tom, what about you?
So, a time in my life where I had a decision to make about speaking up. I do recall one time I was working with a national training organization and we were having a meeting with all of the trainers. And I remember we were a local franchise. I remember the president of the organization had decided to promote his son to a particular position in the company of empowerment. And he asked a group of us, must have been about 30 of us in a room. So, okay, does anybody have any objections to my son being promoted to this position? And it was dead silence in a room. I mean, you wouldn't want to say anything. If you said something bad, who knows what would happen to you. I remember looking at the owner or the president of the company, and I could see that he was nervous because his leg was going back and forth, back and forth. He was sitting at the front table. You could see his leg moving. And I thought, probably best not say anything at this point. And I thought to myself later, you got to do that sometimes. You got to pick your battles when you want to
Mhm.
speak up. Now, there are other times I approach him about other things in private, which I think is probably one of the better ways to do it, about things that I needed to communicate to him that I didn't think were right. But at that moment in time, I just knew right there that sometimes you just got to pick your battles.
Wow. And that's huge for all of us because I'm so glad you said that because sometimes people say, well, Joyce, this means I have to always speak my truth. Oh my gosh, no.
Mm.
I mean, has there ever been a time when either one of you spoke your truth and that, that you shouldn't have? It could have even been with family, friends, anybody here? Or did you recall a time like that? Or
Of course, of course. I mean, plenty of times, plenty of
yeah.
times. I remember one time years back, I was much younger. I had a big family, three older sisters, younger brother, and we all lived in this house with one bathroom. I don't know how we did that, three bedrooms, and I don't know how I figured that one. But in any event, there were times that as we got into our teens and late 20s, that there were many times we had conflicts in the house where someone did something or said something, and someone spoke up, and it was a shouting match. It was a test of who had the loudest vocal cords, and it didn't end well. It didn't end well for me at a number of occasions. So I think that's where one of the places I started to learn that it was probably best to ask questions as opposed to just
Hmm.
speaking what I felt was the only way to do something.
And look at you as a coach. That's all we do is ask questions. So you learned. And I had a time when there was a narcissist in my family, and at the time, and I didn't know that much about narcissists, but I couldn't stand the behavior, and I actually spoke my truth. And of course, you know how well it didn't go.
Hmm.
And that's when it dawned on me: you have to read your audience. You have to know what's the point of talking to somebody who is so into themselves, no matter like with your boss, for example, Tom.
Hmm.
And then, I mean, sure, sometimes we've all made mistakes. And of course, we have and opened up our mouth when we shouldn't have. But that was a turning point for me, especially with that person. I just know that years ago, I always walked on eggshells, and there's actually a book about narcissists.
Hmm.
Stop walking on eggshells, and that's when it dawned on me. When I'm with my clients, please make sure that you make it clear. Know your audience.
Mm.
Now, yeah, that's huge. Dinah, did you ever get in trouble for saying anything? I don't want to put you on the spot. I mean, it's
No,
kind
no.
of fun.
In fact, I used to say that the only time I opened my mouth was to change feet, but Tom is absolutely right. I mean, timing is everything. It's picking the battle for one. Is it worth it? First of all, number two, is it the right time? And if the truth needs to be spoken, there may be a better time to do that. And these are all judgments that we need to make. I'm kind of a high D on the disc scale, if anybody's familiar with the disc. So we kind of just say what we want when we want to, and we have to learn to adjust, just like every other behavioral style. So you have to pick your battles and you have to pick your time.
Absolutely. I love those of you taking notes. It's just put it in your mind is picking your battles, because you could be, I mean, how do I say this without sounding like I don't want to sound? But I give a profile called the conflict dynamic profile, and on it measures your triggers and what sets you off.
Mm.
So no wonder why I do what I do as the queen of conflict resolution. I've never seen anybody with a profile with the triggers off the page. Everything sets me off. And I'm being very serious. Whether it's people who interrupt, whether it's people who know it all. I mean, they give you certain triggers. And I've had to learn, like that's what both of you are saying in different ways, to pick my battle on the trigger. Otherwise, I'm going to be fighting and going on that white horse. So you think it's a white horse, and picking the battles. And there was a time when I was exhausted. So I like it so much better now.
Mhm.
At home, I have a good time in my mind, but not there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So a turning point for me was when I was a young, I got married young, and married an attorney, very talented attorney. And whenever we had arguments, it was like I was in the courtroom
Mm.
speaking to a judge. I mean, I think lawyers have the debate skill innate. They just know how to debate. I never took a class in debating. I was outgoing, but I never really voiced my opinion. And I knew that I had to change, but I'm not going to say how I did it until later on in the show, because it was pretty huge, and that's part of my journey. Now, I have another question, and tell us how standing up for yourself impacted your life.
Oh.
You told us whether it was Dale Carnegie, whether it was you were 30 years old, then how did it impact your life?
Take it, Tom.
Well, let's see. Could you repeat the question?
I sure can. Tell us how standing up for yourself impacted your life. I'm so glad you said that. That's a good.
So, well, there's probably a number of different situations where that might have happened. But I could tell you, well, personally, in my own relationship with my wife over the years, uh, very strong, high, deep behavioral styles, which she has. I'm a high I. So you can see that it's going to be kind of a win-lose situation there. So there are times that I just I don't like to argue, but and one of the reasons I don't like to argue is I lose my voice, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
get a hoarse. So I, I found that there are times I just say, hey, enough's enough here. This is the way I see the situation, and this is my stance, and I'm not moving on this.
Mm-hmm.
I just was very clear and straightforward, and eventually we worked it out. But that was many times where that has happened. I just can't be the easy going guy all the time. You're like, wait a minute, this
No
isn't
way.
right. I don't agree with this, and this is I'm
Nope.
calling it stop right here. And
Now, I have somebody that made a comment. Do either one of you know of John Tenza? He's
Mhm.
part of our, all three of us know. Hi, John. And he is known for the questions he asks when he deals with all of his realtors in sales. What made you decide to speak up? And which we've covered, John. So hopefully you're saying, yeah, Joyce. What held you back? Thank you for that, Mr. Tenza. So what held you back? Diane, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, well, in my case, and yeah, we covered what made me speak up. I had an epiphany. Thank goodness. I mean, I was standing at my kitchen table. That's just how it happens. And in your 30s is when people do begin to question life and where they've been and where they're going with their life. In my case, what held me back for so many years was my lack of confidence and my no ego. I thought I was too stupid to go to college. That's how bad my ego was. And now I have a master's degree. And Joyce, to your question of the impact that speaking up had on my life, my first husband had an kind of an old world opinion that a wife should be home in the kitchen, pregnant and barefooted. But I knew I wanted to be productive and I wanted to work and make a contribution. And I found the courage one day to say to him, I know I want to work. He said, whether you're married or not. I thought this guy was going to divorce me because I wanted to get a job. And I said, yes, whether I'm married or not. It was like, I mean, it took everything I had to say that. And it impacted my life. I mean, I started a business of my own. I was a clown, a magic clown. I mean, I've done it. So yeah, if you want to know how to do it, just give me a call, okay?
Yeah, and you just did it. I mean, you just that
One step
Hi.
at a time. Yeah, one step
yeah,
at a time.
different worlds. It doesn't mean you had to live his. But how many? I'm sorry, folks. There are still people today that are living in somebody else's life of how they think you should live. And we're all coaches, consultants. We know that. And that's one of the reasons why that's one of my passions is to, like I said, break your silence. So you have the confidence and courage. It takes courage. And to go back to my story with Mr. Attorney. So a few years into the marriage, I knew I wanted to do something. I wanted to get my master's. Hello, Diane. And I didn't know in what, but I took all these assessments and the results, counselor, coach. So I was so excited. I found a university near. That was before online classes. And I was already, and I told Mr. Attorney how excited I was. And he said, are you kidding me? You got to go into sales. You're focused. You've got that personality. You've got a work ethic. And I stopped because I was prepared. I didn't know that he was going to react, but from the first year I was married to a few years later, I got coaching myself. I read every book. At that time, it was called Assertiveness Training. And I said to myself, it's now or never, Joyce. I wanted to go back to school, period. I took a deep breath and I said, I'm frustrated when I'm sharing how excited I am about going back to school because my dream and my ideas are being discounted.
Oh.
Now, you've got to understand, I didn't say it in a disrespectful way. I respected myself and him. I wanted to be sarcastic, but I wasn't. And sure enough, he was taken aback. He said, wow, you were direct. And I didn't know that. That changed because I changed the dance of anger, old book folks, Harriet Lerner. When you want to change and you change the dance steps, the person who you're with may go along with you. No guarantee. You ain't going to change them. But when you change your approach, I mean, does this make sense? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And just to end this particular story is when people say to me, why did you get into conflict resolution? And I always say, I married an attorney, and they laugh. They think I'm kidding. No joke, folks. No joke. So we are going to take a short break. It's exactly 60 seconds. Don't go back because I've got some more questions to ask Diane Bogino and Tom Borg. Are you a growth-minded individual who loves your job but feels overlooked or disrespected? Is there doubt that you'll never get that promotion or thinking about leaving when you don't want to? Do you want to stop feeling invisible and start using your voice at home? Hi, I'm Joyce Weiss, communication coach and facilitator. You don't need to feel unheard, disrespected, or stressed at work or home. There's hope. It's time to kick conflict to the curb and resolve your frustration with bullies and challenging relationships. Are you ready to explore increased self confidence, greater job satisfaction, and fulfillment in your career and life? If this sounds like something you want, email me, Joyce@JoyceWeiss.com, to set up a complimentary Jam with Joyce session to see if private coaching is for you. Well, we are back with Kick Conflict to the Curb. I'm your host, Joyce Weiss, interviewing my brilliant minds, career coach Diane Bogino, and founder and president and small business consultant Tom Borg. So let's continue. Has speaking your truth ever led to a surprising outcome? Something that you just like, wow.
You know, I'm going to answer this maybe in a different way.
Please do.
I've learned to be true to myself, and I learn more and more about that every day. And when you're true to yourself, you speak your truth because you know who you are. And there's so few people out there today who know that, but it's something I have to work on every single day. You don't have to shout or browbeat people or make a big fuss to get your point across or get your way or to speak your truth. So first of all, you know, we have a mantra at where I work is called become better every day. And that's what we have to do as human beings, and particularly working on our weaknesses. And of course, a weakness can become a strength and vice versa. But when you learn to speak your truth and learn to do it quietly, it is so powerful. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I love the way you answered that. And quietly, and sometimes silence is your biggest asset. Boy, did I learn that the hard way. In family. No, I mean, my daughter, we're very, very close. But at one time, I was like a puppy dog every time we met. I was so excited because, you know, at that time, she still is working full time. But plus, she had a young child at the time. And so we didn't see each other all. And finally, she had to let me know in a direct way, yay, that, Mom, I want to be with you. But sometimes it's okay if we have a little silence. And now, wow. I mean, you got to know, like we said before, you got to know your audience. And we haven't talked about body language, reading the other person. We maybe we're not reading them correctly, but when it comes to our communication and are they taking us right, you can tell. I mean, how anybody here want to pipe in there? How do you know when somebody is like, I'm not sure if they're hearing me correctly? Are there any signs that you've ever seen in your communication?
Sure, I see that frequently. If you're married or you got a significant other, I know with my wife, time, I'm saying one thing and she's not hearing it. I'm not kidding. I'm telling her, I'm not
laughing at
telling
you.
the
I'm so
truth.
sorry.
No, but we'll have this conversation. I'm saying, and she says, I'm telling you the truth. Look at my eyes, okay? They're not blinking. I am telling you the truth. And that usually convinces her.
Yes.
Because I'm sincere. It's the truth. But, you know, Joyce, I want to hitchhike on that just for a second. In terms
Please.
of truth, I remember an experience I had years back. I was taking this training program. It was on self-development and developing your inner self, etc. I remember driving down the street in my car, and I remember I was so excited about something, I just kind of yelled out, "Oh, right, this is so cool!" And I just, for a moment, I had to stop and said, "Wow, there's that inner child coming out," and it was kind of like an awareness I didn't have before. It was like, wow, there's this person inside of me that wants to be this excitable person that's okay to speak up and, you know, by yourself in your car to shout out and scream. And that was a breakthrough for me, all by myself driving along. I just, wow, this is a
Wow.
different side of me I hadn't seen before, right? I was a kind of a shy, introverted kid growing up, all through high school. When I got into college, it started to change a bit. But I'm saying is that that was a moment of truth for me, being introduced to myself or a part of myself. Yeah, that was a
Totally.
big
And
deal.
now remind me, about how old were you? Was
That
this
time I was probably about 29, I bet you, 29.
okay? So
Yeah.
you've already gone to college,
Hmm.
and this was
But not a real expressive person, Not
yeah.
so.
Now look at you.
Mm.
We're pulling back. I mean, I was always expressive. High
Mhm.
school. I mean, one thing I didn't do though, I didn't voice my opinion.
Mm.
Thought it like me. And even
Mm.
when I became a speaker and when I was a motivational speaker, I really didn't um voice the important stuff.
Mm.
It was fluff. We're talking about, at least 15 centuries ago when I was a
Mhm.
motivational speaker. And it was again one of those moments when I said I wanted to do something deeper. And then I said, no wonder why I wanted to do something deeper. Joyce,
Mhm.
voice your opinion, conquer or bring out the tough stuff. And now, I mean, my kids are always saying to me, you look, actually, my son, I'll bring him into this conversation. Mom, you're always looking for conflict. And I tell him, I'm not, it's always there. I just choose not to brush it under the table if it's something important to me. And
Mhm.
that's what I feel many people, and especially with clients that come, it seems that many times they're afraid because they're going to ruffle someone's feathers,
Mm.
and we weren't trained how to be an open communicator in high school. Did you? Maybe you were. Did you take? So
Mm.
look what all three of us do.
Mm.
Matter of fact, this is a good time before I get to the to another one, because this session is going fast. But um, if like professional development, I know it's big for all of us. Um, what do you continuously do? Because people watching, I'm sure you're doing it too. But if not, listen, we're seasoned professionals. Um, I'm just going to start, and maybe it'll piggyback. I mean, I'm always taking classes about AI and video with Terry Brock and Gina Carr. We all know them, love them. They give the best workshops. And here I am at the stage in my life when so many of my friends, they're not working. And here I'm just learning all these new platforms, and not just learning, boring my husband. Yes, it's the same attorney. Boring my husband's like, oh, I just learned blah blah blah, and I'm talking about body language. Oh, that's yeah, right. Like here, but he cares. But I could be a bit much. So anyway, what kind of professional development are you both still taking?
Well, like you, I take courses online and I do a lot of research. I love research. And, Joyce, what you just said at this stage in our lives, none of us on this are spring chickens, but um, I know people so much younger than me, maybe 20 years younger than me, that can't do technology. They can
Mm,
barely type. They don't know how to upload a resume. It's incredible. So we speak our truth every day by staying in the game and continuous learning. That is so important in life, and to keep your mind sharp. And learning is, I love to learn anyway. That's just my personality. But you can't, you can't just lay low and stay out of life. It does.
no,
You'll die.
no, and become bored, and then
Yeah.
therefore become bored, and
Mm.
boredom when there's so much out there.
Mm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And Mr. Oh my God, I used to, I mean, both Tom and I live in Michigan, Diane. So we were in a mine, uh, what are they?
Mastermind?
Thank you. A mastermind group with John Tenza, who may still be watching. Every time we walked in there, and we've been doing this for years. Tom brings in, these are the new tapes at one time, cassettes that I've listened to, and I want to share with you about what I learned. The guy, I mean, you just never stop. I mean, I haven't been at your home with a mastermind lately, but so you still.
Oh, absolutely, Joyce. Here's my little story on that. I remember going through college, my bachelor's. I remember I read the books I had to read, and it wasn't really exciting, but I did what I had to do and whatever. But then when I finished college, first year out, I picked up a book, Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. I don't know where I bought the book, but I thought, this is the kind of book I like to read. So that's what kind of got me sparked at that moment. Started reading and self-developing classes, this, that, everything. But to this day, absolutely, in my driving forces assessment, I am a they call an intellectual, which means I love to learn, take in information, and that's what I still sparks my fire here. I usually read 5 to 7 books at any given time. I don't read them all at once, sitting down cover to cover, but I have them sitting right there, usually on the kitchen table. But I love to learn, just like you, Diane, just like you, Joyce. So reading, listening, and I'm the kind of guy on the audio end of it. I like to hear something over and over and over again. It just becomes part of my brain. I'll listen to a good audio recording if it's really good 20, 30 times. And why? Because we love to teach. I love to learn. It's a natural extension. I can teach this. And I believe, just as Dr. Eric Plasker says, you have to have the 100-year lifestyle, which includes staying in shape, eating the right foods, but exercising your mind, of course, keeping really fit in that way. And by doing that, you continually have something to look forward to, something to get excited about, and you are relevant, right? When you stop learning, you become less relevant.
Your eyes, Diane, are you noticing it? Your eyes just when you started talking about exciting and learning. We get it. Talking about
my body language.
Oh my God, it's so true. It's so true. And then I just want to end it. If you've got something else you want to add to this, please do. But here, all three of us are coaches, and we've done workshops, and so there's something that I started using years ago called verbal aikido, and that's when you keep on pushing each other, nobody wins, and you don't resolve anything. Verbal aikido is the person who pulls back is the one that's got the control. So when I was learning this at that time, I had a friend who was always sarcastic to me, and he used to pick on me, and I used to laugh. Or I used to say something, no, I'm not. Then all of a sudden, it's like you in the car, Tom. I said, I'm getting together with him, and this has got to stop. So I remembered the verbal aikido, and one thing you could say is, you're right, this is how I've always been. And the minute you say you're right, the person like, are you kidding me? So I said to him, this was my verbal aikido. When he was picking on me on how much I packed at one time, not guns, but packed my clothes, because when I travel, I used to. This was years ago this story. Oh no, I don't. This is what I like to do. Blah blah blah. Well, enough. So I said, that's one way to look at it. I'm comfortable how I live my life and feel confident in my choices. He said, wow, I never thought of that. That was the end. No more. No more. No more. So folks, if there's somebody that's in your life that's driving you crazy and you've allowed them, not shame on you. Oh my gosh, I did it for way too long. Yeah, you can contact all of us so we can help you, and I'd be very serious. So does anybody else have a story like that? If not, I'm gonna wind down.
Yeah, it's people will lose it because they can't see any other perspective but theirs. and they don't know how to look at your perspective until you say something about your perspective, and you don't have to beat them over the head with it again, like
No.
I said before. um, well, think about this, or maybe we could agree on that.
Yes.
Just like you said, Joyce, it's bringing them into the game and helping them in a nice way to see some other perspective.
Yes.
It's a game changer.
And it's so hard. Tell me. I mean, it's yeah, you say it so calmly, and I know you are. I've seen you in action. It's tough though when you are a high D, a very
Mhm.
direct person. It's hard,
It
and
is.
that but like one of you said, or maybe all three of us in different ways, that our strengths become weaknesses. So
Mhm.
if you're a real quiet person, that's good because then you're a good listener. But it's not so good if you're not voicing the same thing with people who are you're the first to answer. I
Mhm.
am because I'm the host, so I can get away with it. Um, okay, I'm going to put on your emails. Yes, Tom Borg at tomborg.com and Bogino D at earthlink.net. And would each one of you just please let our viewers know what you could do with them? I mean, just to give a 30-second explanation or call to action. Why should they call you?
Go ahead, Diane.
I was just going to say, go ahead,
Oh,
Tom.
you were okay. Well, you want me to go first? Go ahead. I'll go first if you want. Well, if you're interested in looking at how you can take your professional leadership to the next skill level, give me a call or just text me, email me, whatever works for you. Be happy to have a free conversation with you. We can talk about your options, what you want to do with your life, what you want to do with your business or your team that you're working with, and be happy to share some things we might be able to explore with you there. And then one more thing at the end, when you're all done, I have one more thing to say, Joyce, but go back to Diane now, please.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom. I help people build better careers so they can create better lives. It's okay to have a job, nothing wrong with that, but the real money and the real foundation for a good life comes when you build a career into something solid. And we also get into life, you know, there's no separation between life and career. So we get into all of that, your life and your career. I love helping people see the good in themselves and see how they are. I mean, people come to me when I had a resume business, and when I would do their resume, they would sit down and cry, looking at their resume, saying, "Is this me?" And I say, "Yes, that's you." That's what I
Wow.
love to do. Yes.
Wow. Great. You see why I invite these two back all the time? Thank you. Tom, did you want to say
Yes, I did.
yeah.
Thank you, Joyce. So when I look at life, and this is maybe taking it a little bit different direction, but I, think about this. You are in a helicopter. You're going up 1,000 feet. Look down on your life. Where you been, where you heading, and all the possible curves or roads you could take to get off of where you're going now and head off in a different direction. But I think really that's what life's about, is to explore, to take the time to really enjoy who you are and really get as much as you can out of your life, because quite frankly, it's a do it to yourself philosophy if you want to be successful and happy. I read this in a book once. I think it was by I think the last name was Livingston, but the name of the book was Too Soon Old, Too Late Smart. Great little book. And one of the things he said, to really be happy in life, you need three things. One, something to do, something to look forward to, somebody to share it with. And
Wow.
I try to live my life by that. It seems to work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what a great way to close this. Okay, can I give you $1 now? Because I asked you to say that. No, I didn't. This was totally spontaneous. Well, thank you. I think we need to do this again, and we'll get
Love to.
a different topic. And I really had a great time, and I
Me
want to
too.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. And y'all need to come to Atlanta and get out of that cold.
I think it's a great idea. What are you doing in January?
Yes,
We'll be down.
yeah,
Really.
that's actually hey, that is a good idea. Reunion time.
I
Well,
think so.
thanks to so I do hope that you enjoyed yourself and learned as much from Tom Borg and Diane Bogino as I did. And please reach out to them. You could see how real they are and they're ready to answer any questions that you have. And if anything sparked from this conversation and you're saying, "Oh, gee, I wonder how it would be if I made a little change and wasn't so silent and felt a little more confident," all you need to do is reach out. I had that in my little mini commercial. Send me an email. Maybe I even have it up here. Wow, look at that. Joyce at joycevoice.com. And we can set up a Jam with Joyce session, complimentary. And sometimes all it takes is a conversation to talk about something that's on your mind that you want to change, and boom. So I want to thank all of you for watching, for especially to Tom and Diane. You see why I attract people. It's not that I attract them. We're all attracted to people many times in the self development and the professional development field. So I feel so fortunate to have them as buddies. And until next time, remember, you get what you tolerate. Is it going to be chaos or calm? Thanks so much. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And make sure you sign up for LinkedIn because I'm going to have lots of these snippets from this particular recording there. See you next time.